Hello and welcome to Mugello in the Touring Car series. Today we're going to use the Disaster. I find this car actually very competitive at this track and it does seem to serve really well. Again, I've chosen not to qualify for this race, so we are going to be starting off pretty much at the back of the pack in position 17. But this race does have a very interesting twist to it. Although I'm right at the back now, the ending will surprise you. This is a short race, so do expect a good bit of chaos as well. Everybody does really like the fight. It's only 8 laps here, and aggression is usually quite high in short races. Getting a great start off the line, catching up the Honda Civic up in front. Audi goes to the right hand side now. Audi to my left. I think that's an Audi as well. I'm not too sure. But we are getting knocked about a little bit. Braking early for this corner and getting ready to turn in. There is cars diving everywhere. Few people going off track. And staying up the inside is usually the safest place you can go right now. Going in for turn 2, the MG to our left hand side comes ploughing in, takes the Audi to the right off, comes back on track, takes the Audi to the left hand side off. G920 cleared the pathway so we can make our way through. That's the nicest way of putting it, although it's not the nicest of moves or tactics to have. Coming down here, keeping our left hand side, catching up to the NG up in front. Going to be backing off a little bit for this braking zone. The MG slides right through the Honda Civic, pushing the Honda Civic wide. Honda Civic comes in front of me. I've got nowhere to go. They're ploughing into the back of the Ford Focus. The Ford Focus has nowhere to go. But as we're coming up to the end of lap 1, we are in a position 8, which is really good. I can't really grumble at that. Turn 1 was an absolute mess. We're going to make a move up the inside of the Honda Civic now, looking for the 100 ball to our left hand side, braking just after it, going down the gears nice and quickly. MG has made contact with the Ford Focus again and sent them off the track. So you can see their tactics and the playstyle they're going to be using. So if I'm going to be making a move on the MG up in front, I'm going to have to play it safe. As we were coming through the last 2 corners, me and the Honda Civic did have a bit of door rubbing going on, a bit of contact, but nobody was put at a disadvantage. It was just guiding ourselves, leaning against each other through the corners, and that is not a problem with touring car racing. I quite enjoy it, to be fair, where you're that competitive, you're both on the line with each other, you both have the same kind of skill level or steering abilities or whatever, and you're both just leaning against each other to get through. That is not a problem, but when you're hitting someone off the track, it's just not fair. But again, online racing. Coming down here, we're going to be tucking right up behind G9 up in front, getting right in there. Going to be braking just after the 100 meter board down to second gear and turning in. You can see there was a bit of an excessive brake there, probably looking at a brake test move, not too sure. Going around this corner now and giving them a little bit of space. There is a few cars up in front that do seem to be maybe fighting a little bit, or maybe going a little bit slower. Hopefully they might get a penalty for going off track there. I guess not. Still at 2.3. Braking into this corner now, over the curbs on the left hand side, over the curbs on the right hand side, and accelerating out of this corner. Now I'm really looking for where I can make a move on G9 up in front. You see them going very wide in this corner now, so I'm going to tuck up the inside quickly here and then brake for this corner. And they're very close. You see them on the radar, so I'm taking the inside line so I have no contact with that car, and I'm keeping over to the right hand side. And you can see them breathing over and getting very close again. Not sure if they have a radar or not, but I'm getting a bit in a position where I don't like where this is going. We're looking at a 100 meter board, braking now down to second gear. You can see them dive in front of me and then brake harder again. You know, that's the tactic they're going to use. Okay, not a problem. Coming over the curb on this left, bring it back over under the curb on the right. Maybe touch sausages depending on the tune setup you have got. Gonna keep right behind G9 up in front, cutting this corner in just like that. Bring it back over on the right hand side, accelerating out the corner. Should have turned a little bit earlier there, costing me a few attempts, which I didn't really want to happen. I wanted to keep up behind G9. Oh, there's a ghostly car there. I wanted to keep up behind G9 up in front, a bit closer to have a better run down the straight. You see, they looked like they wanted a bit of contact with the Audi up in front and missed it and went off track. So I'm not too sure, but I do hear from the community the Red Bull livery does not help situations. Whether that's true or not, let me know down in the comments below, but apparently the Red Bull livery is a sign of problems. Braking again 100 meter board, they dive in front and a harsh brake on me there, and I end up going into the back of them. Okay, this cannot carry on. So I'm going to go over the curb on the left hand side. They are going to be held up by the two cars up in front. Over the curb on the right hand side, you can see I'm going to get a much better run out of this corner now. Coming over to the right hand side, I'm going to hang it back over onto the left and use their car to get through that corner. Thank you very much, buddy. That is that position gained. Now, I've got a 0.5 second for avoidable contact, which to be fair, I'll take on the chin because it's only half a second. I'm coming through this corner very quick, going as wide as I can off the track, and I knew they would follow. Nothing worth it. Look, 0.1 second. 0.1 second. In total, 0.6 second penalty, and I took that person out. Well, they took themselves out of the race, to be fair, because they went off track following me too quickly, and yeah, played a smart game sometimes. Let me know what you think about that. If you enjoyed that, hit that like button, because that was quite a good move. I'm pretty proud of that. Start of our last lap, NXR Cabby did manage to make a move on me and take that position, so we are in P5 right now. Braking at the 100 meter board down to second gear and turning in, rubbing that curb on the right side and start accelerating up the hill, coming back over to your right hand side, dab of the brakes here, rub that curb on your left, coming over to the right, rub the curb on the right, go over the sausages if you have a softer setup, and accelerating out of the corner. Slowly gliding on your right hand side, halfway down the curb strip, braking down to third gear, over the curb on the left, over the curb on the right, and accelerating out and using the outer part of the track to help build momentum. Braking a little bit early here, giving a bit of space to the cars in front. As you see, they're all bottling up right now, and carnage, a little bit bumpy. Gonna take them inside move right now. There we go. Audi NXR Cabby pushes them off track. I'm gonna push him to the finish line, getting away from the cars behind. He has a 4 second penalty, and we finished the race in position 2. Look at that, guys, absolutely incredible. Position 2. And because you all know I'm a sucker for punishment, I'll go back to Mugello and see if we can do this again. But before we get there, I'd like to take a moment out to thank our channel members, which is Andy Good, Jeffrey Anderson, DMC Motorsport, Sigmatic, Camille Coleno, Daniel Adams and John Burns. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, it's very much appreciated. We're heading back to Mugello. Hopefully this race will not turn out as bad as the last race or as chaotic as the last race. But again, we did not qualify. We're going to be starting off in position 15. Which isn't too bad overall. Catching up to the Focus up in front, I think we had a better start off the line than they did. Having a car to our left hand side, it may be an Audi, no, it's a Golf, Porsche DNA to our left hand side. I was going to be looking up the move at the outside. I'm braking early and going still into the back of the Ford Focus. That is my mistake there. That Focus really did brake very well. Anyway, no harm, no foul. We've only lost one position as the Link is battling their way through, and you can imagine turn 1 and 2 is quite messy. There is carnage up ahead. Someone's gone off track. A few's gone off track. Best to stay on the right hand side, so it gives them space to rejoin, thus not having an accident. Braking into this corner now. 2 Audis are colliding up in front. Smoke on the gravel. Carnage up ahead, and we just about braved it through. The Ford Focus and the Audi have a collision of their own and pretty much destroy the pack behind. Peugeot goes up the inside of me, pushes me off track. Thankfully no penalties are given out, and the Link makes their way through as well. Okay, so out of all of that, we've gained 1 position overall. Absolutely crazy right now. Thankfully I have a Link up in front, so I'm going to have a great run down this section now. Going to keep to our left hand side here, braking early, let them battle it out if they want to. Link brakes surprisingly early, so I'm going to go around the outside so you can make a move. It does not pay off. Honda Civic is off track, collides with the Link. They're more than likely going to get a penalty for that one as well. There we go, 2.75 second penalty for avoidable contact. Absolutely crazy there right now. Right, so they have a penalty up in front. I'm going to have the Peugeot to my left hand side. I'm looking for a move, to way of getting through, but they are defending quite well. Okay, so this isn't a lap to be able to make them move them. This okay, we have a fair few more to go. Buy our time, apply pressure, and that might also solve our problem. Coming around this corner now, coming a bit slower upon the exit, but I still have the cars in front to pull me along this line. 0.6 seconds away right now as we're crossing over. Gonna keep within their tow and slowly reel them in. I'm hoping really that the Link and the Peugeot may have an incident between themselves, and that takes two people out for me really. That's more what I'm hoping for, but it wasn't the case. Link did the old switch on them and got the position taken, going nearly into the back of the Peugeot, making them aware that I'm right up the back end, going up for the inside line and getting that move done. Absolutely brilliant move right there, love it. Breaking into this corner now, you can see the tic-tac showing me they are close by, and I thought they was going to do a dive bomb, but they chose not to, thankfully. Absolutely incredible. Dab of the brakes into this corner now, fourth gear, round the corner, down the hill, just before the line, hard on the brakes, down in third gear, rubbing that white line on the right side, accelerating out, and across the start and finish line we go. Now we have an MG to overtake, and I'm sticking behind the Link because they're going a little bit quicker. And I think, yeah, there's still 0.4 seconds in front. No, that might be the MG to be fair. Either way, we are making ground on them both. Something's going to happen here. MG goes quite deep. Link oddly brakes. I think that might be a ping related issue where I went to the back of him because there was a bit of a moment there. But anyway, coming around this corner now, Link goes to make a move on the MG and takes the MG clean out, and thus slows themselves down as well. So that is unexpectedly sort of what I wanted to happen, to get through two cars, but not having the poor MG involved, but more the Peugeot. I can't grumble. It is what it is. We have that move done, and it's our position to take. There we go. Braking down to this corner now, third gear, coming around the other side, 4 more laps to go as an Audi goes off track in front of me. Thankfully on the next lap we overtook the Audi, but we're going to be starting our final lap right now. We are in position 8. Absolutely brilliant and incredible. It goes to show really time and patience. Although it's a short race and it is a track that can create some scenarios, a bit of time, a bit of patience, you could just work your way through, pick everybody off one by one, rather than being a part of the chaos. It was really chaotic, these two races. But if you stick around, the third race at Maple Valley in the wet was surprisingly the calmest race, well, pretty much the calmest race I've had in a long time. And it was an absolutely brilliant race, but more on that in a moment. We're going to be tab of the brakes through this corner now. Over the curb we go. Front tyres are quite worn. Braking a little bit early here. And coming round the corner. Shame I couldn't catch up to Porsche DNA up in front, but they are 2 seconds ahead of me right now. And we cross the line in position 8. Onto Maple Valley. Now, as you can tell, it's a theme on my race. I chose not to qualify again, but it really wasn't that many people in this lobby. So I ended up starting pretty much on the podium in position 3. Mountains of wheel spin as we start off the line. It is sopping wet out there in this track right now. Porsche DNA to our right side in the Gulf had much better start off the line and pretty much got through there. That is not a problem. It is going to be messy, and I expect a lot of problems at this track. Mainly people going off track because of how wet it is. There was hardly any grip out there. We was really feathering that throttle as we're going around corners, letting it off, helping the car rotate and applying it to get it to go straight and back out again. It really was the master of feathering the throttle. That's the best way I could put it. We're braking early into this corner now. I don't want to see if there's any issues going up in front. I don't want to be a party to it. We do have Piston Slap SA behind us in an Audi. We're braking at the second sign on our right hand side, down the third gear, turning in. And really, you can see the revs are really low. Could go in second gear, but by the time I pull away, it'll be nothing but wheel spin. So it's better to have a slower and more controlled acceleration as we go away. Going to be braking into here, down the third gear, and letting the car push its way around, applying the throttle gently. As you can see, piston slap SA went really close up behind me there, but ended up going very wide that corner. We keep it to our right side, back over to the left, rub that grass on the left, rub the grass on the right, then back on the left. And I'm going to be letting off the throttle a little bit here to have better control on our right-hander turn. Down the hill we go. We'll be letting off the throttle again here. As you can see, one Audi has gone off track. Going to keep to our left-hand side. They're going to hit that wall. And wow, they actually didn't spin around and do a loop-to-loop. That is quite surprising right there, to be fair. If you do ever see that happen, stay to the left-hand side of the track, or if they stay on the left, just ghost your way through, because that corner is so menacing and it has taken so many lives. It really doesn't take any prisoners. It is an animal of a corner, especially when there's two of you going through two abreast. Someone's going to lose. It's better to stay away. Right, looking at trying to make a move on the Golf to my right side, but the Golf is a little bit faster than me. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm going to be braking a little bit early into this corner. They have the outside coming on the inside a better line than I do, but I'm also defending myself from the Audi that went off track. You see them on my left hand side right now. We're braking to this corner and turning in. Go maybe a little bit deep there, but I do make contact with the Audi to my left hand side. We'll accelerate this corner. A little bit more contact was almost, oh, it was made there. Now this is going to, the interesting part is going up here, Audi bottles it and brakes, and I carried on. I didn't think the Audi would make that corner unless they braked, so my plan was to keep pushing, not let them get in front of me to be able to come back over. So thankfully my plan worked, which is very rare when that works. It's very rare that I keep the aggression of my driving higher, so I push my way through and force someone else to brake. You know, guys, I'm extremely passive. I just go, yeah, whatever, you take it. I'll overtake you again in a minute. I'm usually not all that overly fussed. Nearly fluffing up that corner now, trying to keep up with the Golf up in front. We are on our third lap right now. Braking into this corner, rubbing that line on the right side, trying to keep as much control as we can, and really trying not to lose too much pace from the cars in front and not let the Audi behind us catch up. Coming on the left hand side here, this is a very dodgy corner, further than that throttle, on and off, trying to keep the car in a direction I want it to go in and not go too wide or too shallow, and also trying to keep the speed up as well, because coming down here you need as much speed as you can get. Going to be going over the bridge. As soon as you see the painted wall come to the end on the left hand side, onto the brakes down the third gear. Again, I'm not running ABS, so I'm being mindful of how much brake pressure I'm applying. The last thing you want to do as well is lock up in this weather, because you'll just go straight on. Braking down into third gear, coming around this corner as steady as I can, and accelerating out the other side, and up the hill we go. Keeping to our right. Oh, we're almost 4 seconds up this lap. That's incredible. Anyway, up through the dip, and then we are high up in the revs of fourth gear. We're going to braking down in third gear. Keep the revs high up in third gear and on the right side, following that line, following the curvature of this road and keeping to our right. We get a better exit for this next section here. Going back over the left hand side, should have turned in a little bit earlier, so I am quite compromised right now. I'm having to do the S run rather than going straight through. Over on the right side, down the hill we go. Hopefully the Audi's going to follow my speed through this and fluff up that corner again. And I've got nothing to worry about from behind me. Really sending it through the 134 miles per hour, insane speeds. 4 seconds, almost 4 seconds up that lap there, which really does go to show actually how much time you can gain. Fluffing up this exit now of this corner, or entrance of this corner, sorry, and really compromising the time I have sort of gained, really. 1.2 seconds away from the cars up in front, and the Audi behind me is 0.5 seconds away from me now. It really is a battle of nerve and just trying to keep you cool and keep consistent and not let anybody pass. So defending, yeah, that'll be the word for it, defending. Right, Audi's going to make a move on the left hand side. I keep straight and the road comes to an end for them, so they have to surrender that position. They are applying the pressure to me. I'm feeling it a little bit. The Audi is quicker than the Astra, but if I can defend right, play it right, I can hold on to this position and hopefully not go off track as well. Going quite steady through this corner. Going to accelerate out after the last signpost on the left hand side. Accelerate out the corner. and up the hill we go. Going to be going into the dip and over to the left hand side. Going to let it glide over to the right. Going to knock it down back into third gear, coasting it round for a little bit, and then start applying the throttle gently as we go up the hill. Want to keep as much to the right hand side as you can upon this corner entry here, and then swing it back over to your left hand side and really keep that throttle pinned. Rub the grass on the left, rub the grass on the right. You can really get over those limits. You see the time we gained from the Audi behind. Down this section here, and again letting off the throttle as we go into this corner. Have a bit more weight on the front wheels, compromising a few miles per hour for better control of the car, not going off the track. Braking as the curb starts on the left hand side here, down the third gear. Again messing up this corner a little bit, but thankfully I'm not the only one. The cars up in front also made that same mistake, but the position 4 has closed that gap again. We do have to bear in mind this is our final lap now, so we're going to really have to hold on for dear life and hopefully not give away this position. It's funny, isn't it? Although the previous races were all about battling your way through and staying alive, this race is all about defending and holding your position, holding your lines, and trying to keep consistent, as well as not having any contact with anybody while being consistent, you know? It was incredible racing for me and position 4 behind, and only credit where credit's due on that one. They were great drivers as well, because we had very little, if really zero contact, you know. And it goes to show in weather like this, when you have a driver that I'm looking in my mirror I can trust as well, it really elevates the quality of the race. And I know it's only a couple of us here and we haven't really juggled around the positions much, but it sort of is irrelevant to an extent. I'm not gaining, I'm not losing, and I'm not being put at a disadvantage via contact either. You know, it's very close racing. The person behind is looking for the move, has been playing for the move, and it's just nowhere for them to safely make that move, as I'm absolutely sending it down here, catching up the Porsche DNA up in front. Rub that curb on the right, really applying that for 134 miles per hour again, and across the line we go in position 3. Absolutely incredible. But before you do go, have a look at this crash cam as we're breaking into this corner now. This is the first lap, so this is the first corner shenanigans. Audi's going to go up the inside nice and clean, keeping over to the right, coming back over. The Golf to our left hand side, give us a little bit of a touch. It spins right off. Audi to the right spins off, so they move to the left to give the Audi space, and ultimately go into the sand or gravel. And look how many positions they've lost just from that one corner alone. It's insane. But it doesn't end there. We're going to be making our turn into this next corner now, getting clipped by the Audi to our left hand side. Audi fights back and clips us again, puts us off into the corner. Heading back to the first Audi that had the first troubles, they turn into a sandwich going in the middle here, getting clipped by the Ford Focus, going off track, trying to rejoin, getting stuck and held up by the Ford Focus. Ford Focus ghost themselves, and carry on we do. Heading back to our troublesome corner here, this Audi clips the Peugeot on the inside, takes the Peugeot off into the gravel. As they rejoin the track, you see the Audi that we saw go off track. They ride over the front end of this Ford Focus and go and meet the old Spinaroo barrier. There we go. Thankfully they rejoined the track facing the right way, but instead of rejoining the track and staying to the left, they rejoined the track and went into the middle, and ultimately nearly got taken out again by the Audi that passed through. Next clip is what happened with the Link and the MG. You can see the Link was looking to make a move and just drove straight into the MG there. That is the best way of describing that. Literally just drove straight into the MG. But I do think they was holding back or something like that, because it did seem to take a while to get going again.